You know, The Come Up is a very well-known internet sensation, internet sensation, internet sensation, internet sensation, internet sensation. You know, and it has a lot of really big following, especially on YouTube.
Hey, this is Leon White, and you are now tuned in to TTB Entertainment.
You ain't never doubted me. You just opened up my eyes to see. Dealing with social media numbers under my pictures. You never left my side, you told me keep it business. I know you proud of me.
This program contains graphic material, including offensive language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Yes, people. So my calendar is out now. I've been so excited to release this to you guys. This is the baddest calendar on the market, hands down. And the first 100 copies will be personally signed by me. So what are you waiting for? Get yours and make 2021 a little part.
Subscribe now. Only $25 a month. Cancel anytime.
I am Rocky, the baddest bitch, and I saw what I said, and if anybody want to fight about it, they know where we're at.
Beware. Expect very offensive language from the start and throughout, and adult themes, including sexual discussions.
Well, I am your host, Karan Wilson.
You've watched his shows. You've seen the drama.
Bitch, I want to see how tough you actually are. Show me how tough you are.
You've heard the rumors.
Let's talk about how you've slept with other cast members from other cities and you've sucked their cock.
Now it's time to hear his truth in his own words.
You are now tuned into the TTB podcast.
What do you mean he's not doing the show? It's not about Bam Bam. It's about him and his reputation. Listen. You let him know it has nothing to do with Bam Bam. It's not about Bam Bam. It's about his own fucking reputation. And besides, I just got finished finalizing the damn questions. All 33 of them. You let him know I'm gonna do the show. I'm gonna do the interview with or without him as a guest.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with GeminiFilmz founder, CEO, and director Karan Wilson. His production company, GeminiFilmz, has over 8.3 million channel views on YouTube. He is a true pioneer in the gay reality genre. Before Status TV Network, before Chasing Reality, before The Real Hot Boys Houston, there was Karan Wilson and GeminiFilmz. Karan, welcome back to the podcast. Lovely. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? That was quite an introduction.
I hope you loved it.
I love it. Yes, I do. That was nice.
How are you? How was the holidays? How was Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was fun. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to spend it with my family because I was in Colombia getting my teeth done. But when I came back, there was a lot of leftovers, so I definitely got into those.
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna hit the subject about them beautiful teeth, darling. We will definitely get there, I promise you. So, Karan, it has been quite a journey for you since your start, with your first hit show, The Bad Boys Club. I mean, come on, Karan, 8.3 million views? That's amazing. How do you feel about the success of your brand looking back? Are you surprised by this?
Absolutely, because when I started filming, I definitely didn't think that it would. I definitely didn't see 8 million or even a million, so it's great that that happened. I'm really happy with the response that all of my work has been getting. I will say that. I always think that it could be bigger and better, of course, and I'm always going to aim for bigger and better. But I think for 23 years old, I think I'm doing pretty okay.
So speaking of your hit show, Bad Boys Club, you have brought the show back in an all-stars format, meaning you have various people from previous seasons all coming back, and you are calling it Bad Boys Club All-Stars. What made you bring the franchise back after all these years, and why on OnlyFans and not YouTube?
So if people don't, well, I'm sure a lot of people do know, but there was a whole scandal, about the Bad Girls Club OnlyFans reunion that I was supposed to produce and direct with the girls.
With Natalie Nunn.
With Natalie Nunn, with all of the girls, and definitely that was something that was in the works. We pretty much, the contract was about to be sent over to me, and then something happened last minute where she changed her mind and then kind of, I guess, convinced everyone else to go with someone cheaper, maybe easier, as far as like not having to do so much. So, that whole scandal came out. My name was thrown around all over the place about like, was it right for me to charge that much? Was it wrong? Yada, yada, yada. So I thought to myself, like, well, I think it's a great idea to bring back Bad Girls Club or bring back Bad Boys Club and put it on OnlyFans, because then you can make a lot of money. People love Bad Girls Club. People love Bad Boys Club. So instead of me being sad and sitting around and not doing anything about it, how can I capitalize off of this moment? And so I was like, well, I'm going to bring back Bad Boys Club, but this time I'm going to put it on OnlyFans. And I'm going to put all the old seasons on there for people who love the show. And I'm going to put a new All-Star special on there for people who want to see what the boys have been up to since season 1. And I'm glad I did that, because it's actually working out really good.
So, Karan, let's dive into another hit franchise of yours. It's called The Come Up. Now,
yes, The Come Up.
Yes. Now, before I get into the latest Come Up, The Come Up Miami, I want to talk about The Come Up New York Season 3. Now, The Come Up New York Season 3, it brought in 443,000 viewers, which is great, Karan, but it's nowhere near what Season 2 brought in, which was 957,000 viewers. What happened, Karan? Where do you think the disconnect for Season 3 came from?
The disconnect definitely was, I think, casting, and also it, in my opinion, kind of felt a little rushed. With Season 2, we had some heavy hitters.
Right.
We had some people who had great storylines. We had people who were already on the show, and then we had some new people who had a big following. So we had Aubrey Banks, we had Andre Cavassier, we had Deshaun Banks, we had a whole bunch of people who were kind of hopping on board with this train that was like, this show is lit, we want to be a part of it, we want to see where it goes, and then, it did really well. And, having those big names is definitely going to add a lot more viewers, because they have a huge following. So I think when you take off those people who have this huge following, then it definitely could be like, the fans of those people be like, my favorite's not on there, so I don't think I'm going to watch the show, which is totally fine. I still think almost 500,000 for a season is definitely pretty okay.
Oh, it was okay, but I got to ask the hard questions,
Yeah, no, it's totally fine. Yeah, you can.
Now, about 5 months ago, Karan, I reported right here on this YouTube channel that majority of the cast from the Come Up Season 3 were all fired. However, several of the cast members responded to my report by saying that they quit. So, which one is it? Did you fire them or did they quit? Let's be honest.
I think my text messages say something different, but if they want to go with that story, sure. I mean, I definitely already made it clear about the direction I was going in and what I wanted to do. So, either way, if they felt like they quit before they got fired, then sure, they can run with that story. But I already knew before this season ended that I wanted to go in a whole different direction, and that majority of those people were not going to come with me. So, you know, if I say that, then I think people already kind of know what that means. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, then if you feel that way, then I quit. And it's like, well, that's fine. You can quit because I wasn't having you back anyway. I kind of already told you that I wasn't going to have you back. So, sure, you can quit all you want to.
Now, Karan, a come-up New York mainstay, Montel, who has been on all 3 seasons, has claimed he was never, ever under contract with you and that he spoke to his lawyer, and his lawyer says that Montel can sue you because you never had legal consent to post him in the first place. Does GeminiFilmz really not do contracts? Like, what is going on with the contract side of GeminiFilmz?
Okay. Well, if that's the story that he's saying, then by all means, Montel, yes, have your lawyer contact me, and we can definitely fight it out legally. I would love to do that if that's the case. I don't know. I really don't know what to say to that. I have a binder of contracts from old shows. I will say that there definitely are times where if a contract isn't made and the cast member doesn't sign a contract, then it's not signed. Absolutely, that has happened before a couple of times. But like that's never been an issue. It's like, you know, no one ever really talks about it. With Montel, I can't remember. I honestly cannot remember. I would have to look at my binder and see. But you know, when you sit down and you do a green screen, you are talking about scenes that you filmed. When you, like, for example, say if he did not sign a contract, right?
Right.
If you sit and you're talking about a scene that you filmed, if you are promoting it, if you are telling people to watch it, if there's text messages or emails of you saying, hey, can we film this scene? Or hey, can you put my song on this? Or hey, can you have somebody film me doing this? That's giving consent. You're asking for us to come and film it. If you didn't have consent, why would you do 3 seasons back? Like, why would you go back to back to back and keep doing the show if you didn't want to be a part of it, or if you felt like you were being taken advantage of? I mean, there can't be 3 whole seasons that go by and you feel the same way, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, now that I have an issue with something, I'm going to say that you didn't have my consent because I own the footage. No one owns the footage but me.
Ooh. Oh.
You know, so it's just being honest. No one owns that footage but me, so I can do whatever I want with the footage. In my contract, it states I can promote the footage anywhere I want to. So if I want to promote it on Pornhub and say, hey, check out the Come Up series through Pornhub, then I can do that. You know?
Not Pornhub.
If I want to promote it on the Shade Room, if I want to promote it on freaking Teletubbies or whatever, it doesn't matter where it's at. I own the footage, you know? Like, I can do whatever I want.
Okay. Montel also claims that he pitched the Come Up show to you. He claims he brought a show to you called The D-List, which then turned into the Come Up franchise as we know it today. Is there any truth to that?
Me and Montel definitely were talking about a show happening outside of Bad Boys Club. Montel did not come up with the name to Come Up. He did not come up with the concept of the show. Montel wanted, if I'm not mistaken, to do a gay show about people in the ballroom scene. And I think that's why it was going to be called The D-List or something like that. And I wasn't interested in doing that. But I said, if I do a show, I'll reach out to you. And lo and behold, I came up with the name to Come Up. And I said, okay, this is what I want the show to be about. And the first season wasn't really good. It was like a trial and error of us trying out this new show. No, Montel did not come up with the show. Montel did not name the show. Montel did not produce the show. I did all of that. I just spoke to Martel when Bad Boys Club was ending about doing a gay show, and he came up with the Gay Vogue show, I think. And then I didn't want to do that, so I was like, no.
All right. Well, speaking of the Come Up New York, will there be a season 4 of the Come Up New York?
Absolutely. I'm interested in doing a season 4. I already am signing on a huge name that I'm excited about, and he was on reality TV before, and he said that he's interested in doing the show, and I cannot wait to tell everyone who it is. And then I also have 2 other people who have huge followings, like hundreds of thousands of followers. I was surprised that they said yes, honestly. I was just taking a shot in the dark, and I was like, would you be interested in doing this? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll let you know more information when it's time. So the Come Up season 4 is going to be completely different than what I have put out before.
Now let's take a break from the mess and talk about your own Karan Wilson YouTube channel. What made you want to start your own channel under your own name?
To be honest, money. I was like, how can I make another check outside of GeminiFilmz? And a lot of people kept saying, like, we want to see your life. We want to see what you're about. We want to see more personal stuff of you. And I was like, I don't like to be in front of the camera. And they was like, well, you should. And so I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll try it. And so now I'm posting more stuff on my personal channel.
Can I say I just love the transparency? My guy said, I did it for the money. Cut the fucking check and stop playing. Clear the check.
Honestly, it's really about the money for me. Like, most of the stuff that I do, I love to inspire people. I love to create, of course. But, I mean, we all work to get paid, so money's the motive for a lot of things.
So, Karan, speaking of new ventures, you finally launched GeminiFilmz merchandise in the early summer 2020, and the merch sold out the first night. How exciting was that for you?
Yay! It was great. Like I said before, I'm the kind of person that's very much like, I don't really like to try new things because I'm scared that I'll fail. And I feel like certain things are just hard to, obtain. Certain things are hard to reach in my mind. But people always tell me, like, Karan, you have to realize who you are. You have a huge following. But in my mind, I don't think that way. I don't think like, okay, I have 50,000 subscribers and 15K on Instagram. I don't think that. I think like, I'm this little boy from Boston that no one's really going to pay attention to. So if I post this, I feel like no one's going to buy it. And then when I relaunched it, I think a month later, it sold out again. Well, it sold out in 2 days the next time, but it didn't sell out the same night, but it sold out in 2 days. And now we're about to drop the GeminiFilmz winter collection.
Okay.
Because it's about to get cold, so we're going to drop the hoodies.
All right.
And the blankets.
Okay.
And maybe some sweatpants and stuff. So y'all stay tuned for that, too, because we're trying to sell out the first night of those.
Yes, you better fuck it up, period. And listen, that little kid from Boston is growing and glowing. How you doing?
How you doing?
Okay. So, Karan, I've been scoping out your Instagram, and it appears that you found love. How did you and your partner meet?
So, we met on Tinder. I had a Tinder account. I never go on it, though. Like, I just, honestly, like, saying it humbly, there's just a whole bunch of, like, messages that pile up on Tinder. And I don't open them. Sometimes I do, like, if I'm just scrolling through. And he, me and him matched or whatever. And then, like, he messaged me. I think he, like, hit me up twice. And then I opened up Tinder and I responded. And then I kept responding, like, weeks later because I never opened up Tinder. And he was like, do you mind if I have your Snapchat? Because I feel like it might be easier to talk to you that way. And I was like, sure. And we started talking through Snapchat. And lo and behold, me and him had a lot in common. So I was like, oh, like, I like the fact that me and him connect on a bunch of stuff. And he was like, well, do you mind, coming over to my house? I'll cook you your favorite food. We can watch a movie. I just really want to show you, like, pretty much like I'm a good guy and that I'm interested in you or whatever. And so I was like, okay. And literally the first night I was like, I literally think I'm in love with this guy.
Oh, wow.
I know, it's crazy to say. No, not the first night, but like literally the first week, I definitely was like falling for him super hard because he definitely brought it to the table.
Okay. Now, what's his race? What is he?
She's white. He's just white.
Okay, I'm so happy you said that. I'm so happy you said he's white. Because that goes to my next question. Now, Karan, I'm so happy you said that.
Okay.
Now, given the Black Lives Matter, climate that we are unfortunately in,
Yeah.
have you received any backlash for dating a white guy?
Yes, I have. Yeah, I did. I mean, from like my close friends, of course, they'll crack jokes, like, just to be funny. But I have gotten like certain comments that's like, wow, we finally have a gay black director who's like taking off and he wants to be in a relationship with a white man. And I'm like, well, honestly, when I was working hard the same way I am now, I dated black guys and I dated Spanish guys and everything. It's just that they fucked up and they did some really fucked up stuff to me.
Right.
To that that's the reason why you guys never seen them publicly. But I felt like with this guy that I'm dating now and that I'm in a relationship with now, I feel like he doesn't care about social media. He makes his own money. He makes really good money. And he's very supportive and he loves me like more than I ever thought I could be loved by someone. Like he pushed me to do things that I never wanted to do. Like I have a class coming up, GeminiFilmz. I have a class that I'm going to teach people how to be a director, produce, and do their own YouTube stuff. Oh. And he's pushing me to do it. Like I made a lot of money with him just for him coming up with these great ideas. He's actually executive producing a new show that I have coming out in 2021.
You better say that shit. Ain't nothing like a good man in your corner who recognizes your vision, who sees your potential. I don't give a fuck what race they are. You understand me? So fuck all the naysayers. You got to do what's best for your soul. Do you hear me?
Absolutely.
Now, Karan, 3 days ago, you posted, got a bag and fixed my teeth.
Absolutely.
What made you get your teeth done? I mean, you already had nice teeth, and do you like the results? Like, is it weird talking? How does it feel?
It's just weird saying S's. Like, I'm still learning how to do that. But I liked my teeth, but I am striving for perfection. And a lot of these years, I put a lot of money into filming, and I put a lot of money into these shows and projects and stuff.
Right.
And I was just like, I never take time to really put money into myself and do things that I want to do for myself. Like, there's a lot, like, I'm not going to get crazy plastic surgery, but there's definitely a couple of things I want to do to my body or my face that I wanted to change for a long time. So I told myself going into 2021, I'm going to take the money that I make, any extra money that I make or whatever, and I'm going to invest in myself and make myself look as perfect as I want to be. And so now that I got my teeth done, I'm going to get my jawline done next, and then I'm going to get, I don't know, maybe the body or something. I don't know. We'll see.
I get it, but just know, I've seen you in person, like face to face, like not far, like 5 inches away from me. Karan, you look amazing. You look amazing. I'm just being honest. You look amazing, okay? All right. So, Karan, let's get back to the mess, shall we?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's talk about the beautiful mess that is the Come Up Miami Season 1. What made you choose Miami?
I've always had a big following out in Miami, and I love vacationing in Miami. And so I was like, if I do a season anywhere else, it's going to be Miami first, because I just feel like it's only right to do Miami, like it's beautiful. There's a lot going on. And it's just something different. It's out of my comfort zone as far as like being in New York or Boston or Atlanta. So I was like, I'm going to make the announcement that I'm doing Miami. And Jamal, Lamaj on the show.
Right.
He was the person so this is the person who actually came up with the idea of me doing Miami.
Okay. Shout out to Jamal.
I have no problem giving props to anyone who comes up with great ideas, But he was like, if you ever do the Come Up Miami, let me know. I would love to be a part of it. I have a lot going on. And then that's when I started thinking, like, oh, maybe I should do the Come Up Miami. Like, that's a good idea. And then we made it happen. And I love this season. I think this season is great. I think that it has a lot going on, and there's a lot coming with this season.
Now, Karan, I saw the trailer and I noticed Sean Dion right away. Now, what made you put your real life friend on the show?
So when I said I was casting for the Come Up Miami, Sean was interested in doing it. And at first I was like, Sean, I'm not about to play with you because I feel like you're going to say you want to do it and then you're going to be coming to filming late. Or
right.
You're not going to show up. And because you're my friend, you're going to be like, oh, well, you know, can you edit me this way or can you make this happen or whatever. And Sean was like, no, I'm serious. And I was like, okay, well, I want you to apply. I want you to be serious about this. Email me and audition like everybody else. And he did. And then he told me the story about what he's going through. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. And I support Sean. You know, he has a YouTube channel. He wanted to get more exposure. So I was like, absolutely. Let's put you on.
All right. Yeah, Sean's amazing. Now, another familiar face that I noticed was Miles Spears. How was it filming with him? And did you expect him to be so laid back and chill?
Yeah, no, Miles is a great person. Me and Miles we've been following each other on social media for like a long time. And he's been showing me love, and I've always been supportive of him. And so when I posted that I was coming to Miami, he was like, I want to do it. And I was like, okay, well, like, you know, apply for it. And he did. And I just thought that he brought something so different. Like, he brought a calming, cool, like exotic looking presence to the show. And I felt like, you know, with all the rah-rah, there has to be someone who is level-headed
right.
who can be the voice of reason, you know, and I think that Miles is definitely that person.
Yeah, he's like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, you know. Just a better looking, a beautiful looking version of Shaq. Just very chill. Like,
yeah, he's very beautiful.
Yeah, like if his house was to ever go on fire, he's just gonna be sitting there for a little minute. Like, he's not, you know.
He'll be like, okay, guys, we need to put the fire out somehow. So
right.
Let's figure it out. And I'll be like yelling, like, oh my God, Miles, we have to figure out how to get out of here.
So let's paint this scene, Karan. So there you are, right? You're celebrating the success of episode 1. You post about it on YouTube, like, oh my God, 30,000 in 2 days, and boom, you get a notification from YouTube. What did that notification say, and what did you do from then and on?
So the funny part about it, which people don't know this, but I'll explain it. So I think a week before the episode came out, I had a conversation with Jamarcus and his manager on the phone.
Right.
And this, like, literally, everything was fine. He felt like he was signing to a new, to management. Management didn't like the idea of him being on the show. They wanted to, I guess, portray him to be in a different light. They just didn't want him to be in any affiliation with anything gay, because they want this straight singer. They want this guy who's going to be picture perfect with no past or whatever.
Oh, no.
And so I was like, I support it. Do your thing. I'm always supportive of you. Kill him. Like, I'm so proud of you. He was like, yeah, but this is the reason why I'm calling you, because we need you to take out everything that is of me on the show. And I said, well, the first episode airs in like a couple of days, right? And he was like, yeah, but like, do you think that you can go and just take me out? And I said, yeah, but you signed a contract and you already knew what you were getting yourself into. And I said verbatim, I was like, I really don't want this to get to a point where it gets nasty or like we don't talk. And he was like, no, it will never get to that point. Like, I promise you, like, it won't get to that point. I'm talking with my manager. We want to work it out. So the manager gets on the phone. Me and the manager have a conversation. The manager's trying to talk about legal stuff, and I'm talking about legal stuff. And then the manager's, I guess, like, he's gagging a little bit because he's like, oh, shit, like, you know what you're talking about.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, I have a whole contract with him. And he's like, can I see the contract? Absolutely. What's your email? I sent the contract. And then it became quiet. And then it was like, okay, well, if you can't take them off, we're going to have to file legal action. And I said, by all means, do what you have to do. I have a show to attend to. Have a good night. And that was that. The episode came out. It did great numbers. Sure. All of a sudden, the day before, I got an email saying, hey, this company is saying that you're using footage without their consent. and we're trying to figure out what's going on. So we're warning you right now, your episode might be taken down. Whole time, I didn't talk about it. I didn't talk about it publicly. I just let it ride out. Once I got the email that the episode was taken down, that's when I got pissed off, because then I got so many messages and emails and everything about what happened. And I knew what was going on. And so then I had to fight it legally, and then came out victorious, and we continued from there. But it definitely was hard, because it was embarrassing. Like, it made it seem like I had no control over my business, and it made it seem like it was easy for a cast member to just take it down. That's not the case. It was a company. I guess it was like some big company that he was working with that like had that kind of pull. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why it was taken down. It wasn't just one person. It was like a whole team or something.
But you won, because, you know, episode 1 is now streaming, period.
Episode 1 is now streaming. I believe it's at over 80,000 views, about to hit 100K. So y'all run it up.
Run it up.
Run it up. And definitely, I had like all the paperwork, you know. So when they were asking for all the legal stuff, I was like, here's the paperwork. Here's where he signed it at. Here's the time he signed it. This is what we agreed on, X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? And you can't really, I mean, how can you fight that? It's like in the contract saying that you agreed to this.
Yeah.
And there's a picture of you holding the contract, smiling.
Not a picture, but
well, just in case, you know, people say like, oh no, that's not my signature. I didn't write that. Like, we have a picture of you holding it, you know?
You better hold that picture like you holding your high school diploma, nigga. That is hilarious too. I'm so sorry, but that is I mean, you got to do what you got to do, but that's funny to me.
Yeah, I've learned in business that you have to do that, and because people will lie and be like, "Oh, I never signed it," and then it's like,
okay. Now I noticed in the mid-season trailer for the Come Up Miami that Jamarcus is being replaced by a guy named Xavier Styles. Now Xavier is married, but by the looks of the trailer, is, you know, it seems that Xavier has a thing for Golden Boy Jovier. What can you tell us about this juicy storyline?
I would say that the way the storyline plays out is very interesting. It was just a situation that happened to come up during filming. Like, literally, you'll see how raw the scene is. Like, it was literally, I don't want to give too much away, but a couple of the boys were at a psychic reading, and we were filming, and Prince's phone started going off. And he got a message from an anonymous Instagram account. And this is how, like, okay, for people who think that I have something to do with this or I came up with this message, I was literally recording. The mics were literally being taken off, but the camera was still recording, because, you know, the camera's supposed to record until we literally are leaving filming, you know, that just in case anything happens like this. So the message came. They saw me holding the camera, so it couldn't have been me. It came from an Instagram account that clearly wasn't mine or had anything to do with me. And it said something about their history. I guess Jovier and Xavier's history, about something about them knowing each other for however long they knew each other. He showed it around, and then they brought it up to the boys, and they handled that situation, and it played out for the rest of the season a little bit. But it's very interesting because I don't want to give it away. You just have to watch it, but it's very, very interesting.
Now, Xavier and Golden Boy Jovier, they recently did a joint interview together, and they both are unhappy with the editing, especially Xavier, because he feels that his husband is basically being embarrassed by this whole situation. How do you respond to that?
This is the funny part about show business, right? So with the whole situation, when the mid-season trailer came out, me and Xavier had a phone conversation that same night. We had a whole 30-minute conversation about how editing works, about how the show's gonna play out, everything. The conversation ended with, "Thank you, Karan, so much for explaining it to me. Sorry, I just really wanted to make sure that nothing looked crazy. I was just nervous about how it was being portrayed." I said, "No problem, but you know how the show works, X, Y, and Z, and just let the show air." And he was like, "Oh, no, absolutely, my bad. I just wanted to address it." And I said, "No, you could definitely address it in your after show too if you want to." And he said, "Oh, okay, cool, yeah, perfect. Okay, so then yeah, like I'll leave it alone. It's cool." all of a sudden, days later, oh my God, I hate the editing. I hate how this looks. He never told me. He made me look this way. And I'm like, we literally just had a phone conversation. I'm so confused. Like, where's this coming from? And then I started thinking about it, and it was like, okay, Bam's upset, I guess, because he felt like I'm editing him out of the show when he wasn't in the scene. So I don't know how I can edit you out scenes that you were never a part of. And then it becomes this thing where it's like, oh, Karan did this to me. When just a week or two ago, when we were filming, thank you, Karan, so much for putting me on the show. I would never bash you. I would never talk about you. I've seen what the boys on New York did. That is so tacky. Like, I promise you, I'm not even that kind of person. And I was like, okay, I wasn't thinking you were that kind of person, so I'm not worried about that. So then it becomes this whole situation of like, one person says something, and now the others are like, oh, well, this is your experience, and this is going to be my experience too. So let me start, saying what, I don't know. It's the weirdest thing.
Okay.
And that's the reason why all of us like are looking like, wait, you guys are upset about something that happened weeks ago that we already squashed? Like, I don't get this. Like, this is so weird.
No, right. I get what you're saying, but I go to my next question, which is another person unhappy with how they are being edited is Bam Bam. He doesn't like the way he was edited in the Prince versus Bam Bam sneak peek that you posted 2 weeks ago to your YouTube channel, which basically makes Bam look like he wants to be with Prince's ex-boyfriend Brandon. What are your thoughts on how Bam Bam feels about the way he was edited?
Okay, so it's my fault that Bam liked Prince's ex's pictures and was liking all of his pictures. That's my fault.
Ooh.
When Prince brought it up, and I had no idea about this situation, it was brought to me saying like, hey, this is a situation that's going on, and I want to talk to Bam about it. So if you're following his ex, and you know that they just went through this whole situation, and Prince wants to talk to you about it, it's my job as a producer to film what's going on. I don't understand how that's even like considered something bad. Like, you did like the pictures, you did do what you did. Like, I can't edit it to make it seem like anything. That's what really happened. Like I said, it's the weirdest thing. It's like stuff that we literally already talked about on camera. It's on camera, so I don't. When Prince talked about it, it's on camera. We did confessionals about it. He knew that this was going to come out. We literally said this is going to come out because him and Prince. I don't want to give it away because I thought, oh God, it's hard.
No, you don't gotta get away. You don't gotta give it away. You don't have to do that. It's okay.
Long story short, when we were filming, the whole situation was already put to rest. We already talked about the situation. Everyone knew what was coming out on camera. So now that it's actually coming out on camera, it's like, oh, I look bad. People are thinking that I'm this kind of person. So I'm going to blame Karan because, Karan, you should have known not to do that when it was like, oh, okay. It's just the weirdest thing. I don't know.
I get it. So, Karan, speaking of Prince and his ex-boyfriend, Brandon, episode 6, my guy, Push in the Bush, was extremely fucking intense. How did you manage filming that scene with Prince and Brandon? Like, wow.
So even Prince can attest to this, but the scene was way worse than what we showed.
Wow.
It got so bad that we had security literally have to stand by for the rest of the night to Prince. Prince wasn't even able to get to his car for like an hour or two because of what was going on. I stopped filming because if I kept filming what happened that none of us talked about, but if I kept filming what happened, it wouldn't be tasteful. And I don't even think YouTube would even want that kind of stuff up there. And just out of respect for privacy, like, yeah, we capture intimate moments, we capture hard stuff, but at the same time, it's like, okay, we can only go so far. Like, I'm not going to cross the line to the point where it's just like, oh my God, I really put that in there,
Oh, wow.
We touched the surface on stuff, but if it gets too deep, there's a lot of stuff that happens on camera that I never post just out of respect for these people.
Right. So, Karan, let's get to the elephant in the room. Okay, let's just get straight. Let's just rip this fucking Band-Aid off, right? So, back to Bam Bam. He is alleging that you have slept with some of your cast members. Now, listen, if this is true, I can't even blame you because some of them are fine as fuck. And if you did sleep with some of them, can you tell us who? Please, we need answers.
I was literally about to ask you who. I want to know the names. Did he say names?
No, I don't have any names. I'm asking you the name.
I was gonna say because I would love to know who I slept with. That's really interesting.
No.
That'll be a great story time for me to put on my YouTube channel. But last time I checked, I haven't slept with not one cast member. So that's very false.
Well, shit. Listen, personally speaking, I wouldn't give a fuck if you did. That's your business. You grown. You can sleep with whoever the fuck you want to sleep with. Okay.
I was just about to say, even if I did, I definitely would have just been like, yeah, me and this person messed around. I'm grown, first of all.
Right.
I could do whatever I want to do. Is it illegal for a director and a cast member to date each other? No, we've seen it happen plenty of times. It literally happens in Hollywood all of the time. So if I did want to date a cast member, then I gladly would. If I wanted to sleep with a cast member, then I gladly would. There are plenty of cast members that actually wanted to sleep with me and that did DM me and that did want to take me on dates. Ooh. And I declined, or it just didn't happen. And I never talked about that.
Okay.
I can be super messy and say some stuff, but I don't. But it's like, don't try me. And let me clear this up also. I seen Bam make this fake screenshot of me asking him for $200. First of all, I never spoke to Bam about asking him for money at all. That's a fake screenshot. One, the profile picture is not even a picture that I even post. Two, if this is true, Bam, if you're listening or whoever's listening that's friends with him, I want him to screen record him sending me the Cash App. Send me the history of you sending me the $200. Or better yet, screen record the conversation and go to my page. Like click on the message and go to my page, and let's see it go back to my page on Instagram. I will give you $1,000 if you can prove that.
Not $1,000, child.
Since I'm asking for $200, supposedly I will give you $1,000 if you can prove that. The screenshot is so blurry you can't even read the words. Like, come on. It's 2020. We gotta be smarter than that. And like, come on now. All of a sudden now it's just like everyone's taking it personal, and some of them broke contract, which means I can sue for defamation of character. I can put out a cease and desist now that I have footage and all this evidence of them breaking their contract. So, it's...
I'm so happy you just said they broke their contracts, because my next question literally...
Yep. In the contract, it states that you are not to go on social media and bash GeminiFilmz for how you are edited or betrayed. You understand that this is a show and that it is our job to make it entertaining as possible. In the contract, it states that you are not able to go on social media and bash the show or talk about scenes or whatever have you. That's what we have reunions for. That's what we have after shows for you to explain something that if you don't like it or whatever, that's what they're for.
I'm so happy you said that, because the next question basically was, will you be implementing a non-disclosure agreement into your contracts from now on?
It's already in there. So now the next step is legal action. Now the next step is we're going to the small claims court. And I honestly, ever since this year going through all this legal stuff, I actually really enjoy it. So I think it's kind of fun. So definitely be on the lookout for some lawsuits and, some fun stuff coming their way.
Not some fun stuff.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Because I don't like to get nasty.
Right.
But I definitely want this to be known.
Okay.
I left it alone for weeks. And, I haven't seen not one interview that Bam did or one video that Bam did. But I do get a whole bunch of messages, and even some cast members do tell me what's going on, and I do believe them. I don't have to see it for myself. I tell everyone, don't send me no footage, don't send me no blog, nothing. If it's something that you feel like you really need to tell me, then text it to me, but I don't need that negativity to come into my life. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm in a really happy place.
Okay.
But I can clearly tell that, Bam has been making videos for the last month talking about the same thing over and over and over again. I will say this.
And they're making rounds. They're starting to make rounds on the internet. Yes, they are. There's a couple of them.
I'll say this. Bam, I had nothing but, I felt bad for Bam because I knew that he went through a lot. So I always made it my priority to make sure he was okay because I knew that he was in a really dark place.
Right.
Bam had a crush on me, and he wanted to take me out on a date, and he talked about doing stuff with me, and he talked about wanting to, calling me daddy and late night phone calls and calling me and saying how, he would like to be with me, but I have too many hoes, X, Y, and Z. Long story short, I wasn't interested because of the director, cast member kind of like, it just wouldn't look good, one. And also, he's not really the type of person that I can get into a relationship with, two. I cannot see myself in a relationship with that kind of person.
Long term.
I have the messages. I have videos. I have proof of Bam expressing how he feels towards me and how he's, how he likes me and everything like that. And I never not once brought that up to anyone because that's no one's business.
Right.
If you had a crush on me, if you wanted to take me out on a date, if you like me or whatever, cool. Like it didn't happen, but it's not my job to tell anyone. Because why? Because it's no one's business. But when you start lying and saying all this stuff and making up fake screenshots, like, come on, how old are we? Seriously. If I asked Bam for money, I would have said, one thing about me, I have pride, but I also don't mind. If I needed $200, why would I go to Bam first? You don't think I have family and friends I could talk to? And I'm like, hey, I need $200. Why would I directly go to Bam and say, hey, Bam, can you send me $200?
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. When I can easily text my mom, my best friends, anyone, and ask them. I can ask my boyfriend. My boyfriend has money. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to ask Bam for money. For what? So let's just make that very clear. None of that stuff is true. If you guys do believe it, by all means, be on that side, that team. By all means. I don't lose any sleep over this stuff. I honestly am in a really happy place. I cannot wait for what's coming out. But I just wanted to make that very clear. Okay,